In long-term care, we know dementia is experienced by 80% or more of our residents. In retirement, we have a memory care neighborhood called Emma's, but there are residents with a diagnosis of dementia living in Egerton, Becker, and Elsa Craig. You heard that correctly. Residents are living with dementia in every neighborhood within our village, not just in secure neighborhoods, not just in memory care neighborhoods, in every neighborhood. Living in My Today is a product of the Schlegel Village journey to change the culture of aging. For many years, our society has used a biomedical model to care for our elders, with a focus on treating the diseases and decline associated with aging. This medical model prioritizes treatment, restoring function, and preventing further decline. We want to be clear. We are committed to providing exceptional quality care for each and every resident choosing to call our villages home. But it doesn't stop with care. What sometimes gets lost in the medical model is the humanity of the person being treated. Each person living with changes as a result of age-related disease or dementia continues to be the person they've been their whole lives. They don't suddenly become less of themselves, just perhaps a changed version. As time goes by, none of us are the same as we were 10, 20, 30, or even 40 years ago. Life is a journey of change. If you were to receive a diagnosis of dementia today, would you want your entire life to revolve around that diagnosis? Would you give up everything in your life to focus just on treatment? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. None of us would sign up for that. You would invest in your relationships, in making moments together, in having experiences, and then making adjustments as changes happen. In other words, you would balance treating the disease while also focusing on the things that fuel your well being. What makes Living in My Today different from many other dementia programs is our commitment to supporting each resident's well being with a plan of care to reflect not only their care needs, but their human needs as well. Dementia is a progressive disease, and changes will happen. If we take time to understand our residents' reality and how they experience the world as their senses and abilities change, we can support them to live well.
I have my own idea about what our primary goal should be in supporting people living with dementia. I think a lot of people think that the primary goal is excellent medical care, finding the right pills to try to help slow or stop the progression of changes in the brain. I think a lot of people think the primary goal is to keep people safe or to do for people because they're no longer able to do things by themselves. I think some people think that the primary goal is to, quote, manage behaviors, to somehow get people to be calmer or to think and act the way that we think they should. But I think that really what's missing with all these, and the reason why all those approaches do not solve the lives of people who are living with dementia, is that there's something else that should be our first and foremost goal, and that is to support people's well-being. Now, what is well-being? It's a very holistic definition, but it's those qualities that all of us need to live well, regardless of our age, our nationality, our ethnicity, our faith tradition, any of those things, or whether we have a disease or not. Everybody needs certain things to live well. And what happens with dementia is we see the condition, we start treating the person with medical and nursing interventions, and we forget about all those other things people need to live well. And I think that many of the things that we call personal expressions actually are the result of a lack of that well-being. So we're going to talk a lot about focusing on well-being and building those reserves so that people can live better in any situation.
Supporting well-being means being committed to knowing each resident as an individual with a unique story, preferences, experiences, and values. It means welcoming the connections they have with family and friends and providing opportunities to create new and meaningful relationships. Well being honors the cultural, religious, and family traditions of value and meaning to them. Well being is finding moments of happiness and contentment, engaging in things that we enjoy. It's remembering that changed abilities don't equal no ability, and every day creates opportunities for choice and self determination. The right to feel safe, respected, and supported is more important than ever to the well being of residents living with dementia as they experience a lessening of control in their environment. Life is an ever changing landscape. Even with the changes that accompany dementia, our brains are resilient and find new pathways to communicate needs and to engage in life. Through all the phases of this disease, change and growth is possible. Living in my today is an investment in the well being of our residents. Living in my today has evolved over the course of several years. It has been shaped by observations and interviews with residents to learn from the real experts what it's like to live with dementia. Time spent with family members, chosen care partners, and friends of our residents has allowed us to learn from their caregiving journeys and perspectives. Daily care interactions, meal times, routines, and activities were thoughtfully observed and evaluated to identify successful support approaches and challenges. Best practices from around the world were reviewed. Countries like Australia, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Japan all had insights to offer. Dr. Alan Power, a geriatrician and renowned dementia expert, joined our dementia advisory group and shares his expertise from many years of hands on practice. Our partnership with the Research Institute for Aging has been invaluable in helping us identify and evaluate new practices and resources to better support residents who are living with dementia. Together, we refined, prioritized, and at long last identified 5 areas of focus for living in my today that will shape how we provide support across our villages to residents living with dementia. Whether a resident lives in Whitby or Windsor, they will benefit from the consistent use of the tools, resources, and approaches living in my today has to offer. It takes a village to come alongside residents living with dementia, to support and engage them so they can live well, even as their abilities and experience changes. Each resident, family member or friend, team member or volunteer is part of this village community, and living in my today involves everyone. Living in my today's 5 pillars invite us to walk in our residents' shoes, to understand how they experience the world, and then join them in their journey. Imagine what it might be like to live with dementia and receive help with tasks you did for yourself your entire life, private and sometimes intimate care activities. Supportive approaches to care, our first pillar, is grounded in knowing each resident's story using our signature me form. That stands for my experience. Allowing this to guide us in creating a personalized plan of care to strengthen each resident's well being. Relationships between residents and team members are fostered as residents share what is most important to them in their My Top 10 form. In order to effectively come alongside residents living with dementia, we need to understand how they experience the world. The Dementia Journey of Change education series offers a practical look at changes commonly experienced in the five senses and in motor, reasoning, memory, attention, and communication abilities. This knowledge empowers all care partners with insight into the most helpful ways to understand, support, and care for our residents using partnership approaches to encourage independence, choice, and dignity. We've reframed looking at distress as actually moments where someone's having a personal expression. That's just actions and words that are used together to communicate our experience and our emotions, and they often tell us when a resident's well being needs support. Imagine what it might be like to live with dementia and be overwhelmed by the hobbies and activities you used to enjoy, or needing help to find something meaningful to do. The Meaningful and Active Engagement pillar supplies innovative resources that invite exploration and cooperation in a variety of leisure pastimes that can be enjoyed independently or with others. Engagement is a shared responsibility and is supported with cues, books, and activities that can be enjoyed in any neighborhood space at any time. These activities can be facilitated by anyone in the neighborhood. That's team members, other residents, or family members or volunteers. Our 10 Living in My Today leisure programs, facilitated by our recreation team members, empower residents to be involved and included in activities proven to enhance and restore the well being of residents living with dementia. Age appropriate, innovative resources engage the five senses and tap into motor and reasoning skills while also fostering moments of connection and cooperation. Smaller groups provide each resident with supported opportunities to use their abilities. Those who find groups distracting or distressing enjoy the same activities on a one-to-one basis in the location and space where they are most comfortable. Imagine what it might be like to live with dementia and find the noise and busyness of meal times to be overwhelming or distracting. Imagine if your ability to recognize and use your cutlery changed, or you now disliked certain textures or tastes, but you weren't able to explain this to anyone. You see, meal times are not just important nutritionally. They provide residents with an opportunity also to socialize, to make choices, and to use motor and cognitive skills in the familiar act of eating. The Enjoyable Mealtimes pillar utilizes simplified setting and serving routines that support independence and choice. Offering finger foods for residents who may not enjoy meals in a traditional way reflects our awareness and our response to their changing abilities. Making food and drinks available and accessible throughout the day instead of just at structured meal times responds to the rhythms and routines of residents, enhancing their autonomy and choice. Imagine waking up in what looks like a hotel room and being told this is your home, or trying to locate a bathroom in an unfamiliar place when you urgently needed one. The thoughtful design pillar reflects the 10 principles accepted around the world as best practice for building spaces to support the well-being of people living with dementia. Our neighborhood spaces replicate the familiarity and comfort of home with their design, furnishings, and finishes. This is Me frames welcome residents to their personal suites, where modifications have been made to optimize their comfort and independence. Interactive galleries, intentional art, and signage help residents to find and make their way within the neighborhood with comfort. Outdoor spaces have been designed to engage the senses and to restore the spirit, whether simply soaking in the sun, feeling the breeze, walking, or participating in a leisure or gardening activity. This space is designed to welcome everyone. Imagine if you were living with dementia and felt like you were being treated like a child. Imagine if you were a spouse or a child of a resident living with dementia and you were confused by the changes you were seeing in the person that you loved. How would you feel? Helpless? Hopeless? Residents living with dementia have the right to experience autonomy, choice, and independence within their day. And this is the focus of the Empowered Care Partners pillar. Instead of care being done for them, it is care that is done with them, supporting them to be partners in the process. Java Time creates a safe space for residents to experience belonging and acceptance, where music inspires shared moments of connection with others who share and understand their dementia experience. The family and friends of our residents can be supported to better understand their loved one's journey through education opportunities like Living the Dementia Journey and Dementia, a Journey of Change. Gather extends an opportunity for families and friends to share their experiences and to offer each other the support, understanding, and encouragement that can only come from others who have walked a similar caregiving journey. Living in My Today begins with a focus on the word my. The focus of this dementia program isn't on your tasks as a care partner. The focus isn't on their today, as if every person living with dementia is identical. The word my, living in my today, reminds us this program is actually about coming alongside each resident as an individual, supporting their unique needs with understanding, dignity, and compassion, recognizing that that might look different every single day. Together, we can and will support residents to live well with dementia.